I was really looking forward to Runaway Romance because I'm always interested in films and documentaries that look at the Amish lifestyle. And I have to say, it was a pretty good film. This was released originally in 2018. It's directed by Brian Herzlinger and stars Danielle C. Ryan as Anne and Trevor Donovan as Hunter. And Anne has been in a reality TV show. Things haven't gone according to plan, and she decides to get away from everything. And unfortunately, she experiences an incident with her car. Her car breaks down, and she stops near Amish country. And an Amish individual and an Englisher, as they call them. It's not a term I've heard of before, so that was quite interesting. Happen upon her when she's broken down, and they take her to the inn that the Amish character Sarah runs. And Sarah is brilliant. I love the character. She's played by Galadriel Stineman, and I thought she was absolutely brilliant. And while there, Anne obviously doesn't tell them that she's a reality star, and people obviously don't know this about her, and it's a chance for her to just get away from everything. Meanwhile, that part of her life might end up catching up with her. And of course, there is a possible romance, and there we have the character of Hunter, played by Trevor Donovan, who I think is a really likable character. I really enjoyed him in this. I liked what he brought to it. And Anne is a really likable character as well. The only character I didn't like is the character of the bishop, who is very strict. He's not happy that Sarah is letting an Englisher stay at the inn. And I feel like that could give Amish people a bad name. On the one hand, I think it's a good thing that they're showing that Amish individuals do have different perspectives, different opinions. They all don't necessarily believe the exact same thing, and that's very true. Some Amish individuals are a lot more strict, and some are maybe slightly more blended in with modern society. So I do like the fact that they're showing different perspectives, but at the same time, the bishop was such an unlikable character that I would worry that anybody watching this with no prior knowledge of Amish people, that they would think that they're all like that. And I hope that that's not the case. Also, it doesn't really give an accurate overview of Amish life. That's not to say it's full of inaccuracies, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but I feel like it doesn't necessarily say what life is like. So put it this way, if you're looking to learn about the Amish way of life, this isn't the best film to do that. I think it works better if you have prior knowledge and you understand a little bit about Amish people, because this doesn't really go into a lot of detail, which is fine. It's not claiming to be a documentary or anything like that, but that's just worth bearing in mind. As I said, it's not that it's inaccurate. Now, on IMDb, in the goofs section, somebody has mentioned that one of the characters is wearing buttons, and Amish people don't wear buttons, but that's not strictly true. Some Amish people, maybe even a lot of Amish people, don't wear buttons, but it's not the case that no Amish person wears buttons. So definitely take everything you read about this with a pinch of salt. Not that I'm an expert or anything, but I guess that being said, even though I'm not an expert, I know that some Amish individuals do wear buttons because they're not as strict. So I'm not entirely sure why they thought it was necessary to write that in the goof section, because it's not necessarily a goof. I'm saying this in support of the film, that some people might say it's not 100% accurate, and I'm sure that's the case, but it's important to remember that not every Amish person is the same. And I feel like it does a decent job of representing, well, that very fact that there are different perspectives among Amish individuals, and that their way of life is not necessarily as black and white as it perhaps once was. It's not a bad film. It's not the most eventful, but the characters are all very likable. We get a small insight into what Amish life might be like, and we have a decent enough romantic aspect to it as well. So I enjoyed it. If you're interested in films centering around Amish country, then yes, I think you'll definitely find that appealing. It's not the most factual. You're maybe not going to learn that much if you don't know anything about Amish life, but we still have a nice enough narrative and likable characters. It's not perfect, but it's certainly watchable, more than watchable. I really enjoyed it, and if it sounds like your kind of film, then I'd say it's worth checking out. It's one that I generally liked, and I'm happy to recommend it.